Hello and welcome everybody to my channel Omni Bio Entrance, and today we will be discussing TIFR Biology question paper conducted in the year 2010. Coming to the year 2010. When coming to the first question. When Matthew was a boy, he hammered a nail into the trunk of a young Ashoka tree 10 feet tall, 3 inches above the ground. He found the tree last year grown to a height of 30 feet. Where should he look for the nail? So the nail will be wherever it was hammered. That is, it will be 3 inches above the ground. So he has to look for the nail 3 inches above the ground. Next one. A messenger RNA is 336 base pairs long, including the initiation and terminator codons. The number of amino acids in the polypeptide translated from this is. So 336 bases, 336 minus 3 will give you 333, that is minus the termination codons. They have asked for the number of amino acids in the polypeptide translated. So you need not have to take termination codons into consideration. So 3 codons code for 1 amino acid and 333 code for 111 amino acids. So the answer here is option C. Then next one. A mutation occurs in the lac repressor protein such that it can no longer bind to lactose, but it can bind to the operator. They have not told anything regarding the operator. It has got mutation in such a way that it cannot bind to lactose. What effect will this mutation have on the expression of proteins of the lac operon in the presence of lactose? In the presence of lactose, lac repressor protein will not be able to bind to lactose. So it will remain bind to the operator region and thereby decrease the expression of the lac operon proteins. Answer is option B. Next one. If mammals rely on their cellular metabolism to generate enough heat to keep warm, how would you expect the mass specific metabolic rate, that is metabolic rate per unit mass, to change? So the mass specific metabolic rate of small mammals should be higher than that of large mammals, because mass specific metabolic rate is inversely proportional to unit mass. So it will be higher for small mammals than that of large animals. Then next one. Honey bee colony consists of. So it consists of mostly females with only one single female being able to reproduce. Answer is option C. Next one. Which process reverses the greenhouse gas effect in the atmosphere? It is photosynthesis that will reverse the effect of greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. Now, next question. If a species contains 23% adenine in its DNA, then the percentage of guanine in its DNA would be. So 23% adenine means it will have 23% thymine also. So A plus T will be 46. Now G plus C will be 100 minus 46, that is 54. They have asked for the percentage of guanine. So 54 divided by 2 will give you 27%. Answer is option D. Then next one. A frameshift mutation undergoes reversion to wild type. What are the ways in which the reversion could occur? So the answer here is an insertion of 2 bases. Option D is the answer. Now this is an example I have shown here. This is the gene which is getting mutated. So 2 base pairs are deleted. A and G got deleted. Now see, this is what you get after deletion of 2 base pair. Now you insert 2 base pairs. You will get the same wild type form of the gene. So insertion of 2 bases is the answer. Then next one. If an affected female marries a normal female and produces affected daughters and sons in about the same number as unaffected daughters and sons, the trait is likely to be. So if it is an autosomal dominant trait, it cannot be X-linked recessive or dominant trait. We will see for the autosomal condition. Because here the same number of unaffected daughters and sons as that of affected daughters and sons are produced, so it cannot be X-linked. So we will see for the autosomal condition. Now if it is autosomal recessive trait, then you will not get the same number of affected individuals. It can even skip generations. But here autosomal dominant trait, if you consider, now this is a capital A, small a, small a, small a. Now the affected male, this is the affected person. Capital A, small a is the affected person. It is autosomal dominant trait. So we have to consider capital A. Capital A then marries a normal female and you get individuals or offsprings as capital A, small a, small a, small a. So capital A, small a will be affected children and these will be unaffected children. So if it is autosomal dominant trait, you will get about the same number of affected daughters and sons as unaffected daughters and sons. So the answer here is autosomal dominant trait. Then next one. Mustansir is carrying out an enzyme reaction in the laboratory and obtains a Km and Vmax value. He repeats the experiment but this time uses only 1/10th of the enzyme. What would he find? Here only the enzyme concentration has changed and enzyme concentration is dependent on the Vmax. So Vmax will change but Km will remain the same. So the answer here is option 2. That is the Vmax would change but Km would remain the same. Then next one. Increased levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide results in the greenhouse effect and thus global climatic warming. The graph below shows the effect of these changes on photosynthesis. Which of the following statements about these processes is false? First statement. At temperatures below 20 degrees Celsius, that is over here, below 20 means nearly up to 10 degrees Celsius, high atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration reduces photosynthesis to values below those seen for plants growing in normal carbon dioxide concentration. That is correct. They have asked for the false statement. Then, one result of increased levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide will be to increase rates of photosynthesis in most plants. So as the carbon dioxide, high atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration increases, photosynthetic rate also increases from this graph. So B is also correct. Then next one. At high carbon dioxide concentration, the highest rate of photosynthesis are measured at temperatures between 30 degree and 35 degrees Celsius. But here if you see, it is between over here. That is 25 and 35 degrees Celsius, not 30 and 35 degree Celsius. So option C is the incorrect statement. Now D, if you see, carbon dioxide concentration is normally rate limiting for photosynthesis. That is also correct. So the statement which is false is option C. Then next one. Plant hormones play a role in regulating the development of plant seeds. The graph below plot embryo growth and the changes in hormone concentration over time. Based on these results, which hormone most likely regulates embryo growth? So they have given the graph of embryo growth, then the embryo growth when auxin is added, gibberellic acid is added, or when abscisic acid is added. Sorry, the graph below plot embryo growth and changes in hormone concentration over time. It is not added, so they have checked for the hormone concentration over time. Based on these results, which hormone most likely regulates embryo growth they have asked. Just a moment. Now if you see graph 1, that is embryo growth graph, you see that the growth is less at lower temperatures and is found to increase with increase in temperature. That is beyond 20 degrees Celsius it is increasing. Then auxin there is less production at lower temperatures and increases as the temperature increases. That is beyond 20 degrees Celsius it is increasing. Similarly is the case with gibberellic acid also. That is, it is produced in lower concentration at lower temperatures, but as temperature increases, that is beyond 20 degrees Celsius it is keeping on increasing. Whereas abscisic acid, if you see, there is no increase in abscisic acid even at 30 degrees Celsius. Only after 30 degrees Celsius the graph has peaked. So they have asked, based on these results, which hormone is most likely regulates embryo growth. So it is both auxin and gibberellic acid, whereas abscisic acid doesn't regulate embryo growth. So the answer here is option D. Then next one. A biologist studied the environmental impact of a herbicide on squirrel reproduction. He selected two small islands with similar vegetation and similar sized squirrel populations with equal reproductive rates. One island selected at random was sprayed with herbicide and the other was used as control. Squirrel reproduction rates were measured on both the islands before and after the treatment. What is the greatest flaw in this investigation? First option, lack of controls. They have already told in the question that he has used a control. Lack of replication. That has not been mentioned in the question. So that must be the answer. Lack of randomization. That is also been done, and lack of variables. Reproduction rate is a variable. So that is also not the correct answer. So the answer here is option B. Then next one. Soumya was purifying enzyme from a homogenate of muscle cells. She went through 7 steps of purification and found that the enzyme activity was the same as the homogenate value. On the 8th step, when the protein was highly pure, the enzyme activity rose to 5 times that of the homogenate value. Can you suggest a possible reason? The homogenate assay are wrong. That cannot be the answer. Step 8 has co-purified an activator of the enzyme. That also cannot be the answer. The enzyme has an inhibitor present in the muscle cell homogenate. Yes, that is the most appropriate answer, because the enzyme has got an inhibitor present in the muscle cell homogenate. So when that is why she couldn't get activity even after till 7th step of purification. But in the 8th step she got activity which rose 5 times that of the homogenate value. So there must have been the presence of this inhibitor in the homogenate. That is why she didn't get much activity in the beginning. The next one. An organism has 4 visual pigments with spectra as shown. This organism will have color vision all through the displayed spectrum except that colors of objects reflecting light in the following spectral region cannot be distinguished from each other. So which spectral region you cannot distinguish the objects? So that will be around here. Around here, that is nearly might be around 350 over here and 400 nanometers. Oh sorry, over here that is around 350 over here and around 400 nanometers. That is over here. You cannot distinguish between the colors.